Placement of the arbitrary posterior palatal seal is accomplished after the maxillary master cast has been trimmed and thoroughly dried. The first step is to carefully mark the anatomical structures that we use in the aid of posterior length of the denture, and those structures, as you know, are the fovea palatini close to the midline and the hamular notch area located on either side of the posterior border. The posterior border of the posterior palatal seal is determined from what we call the A line, or the vibrating line, which is determined from the patient. In this particular example, that A line is located about 1 millimeter posterior to the fovea palatini in the midline and extends to the hamular notch on either side. So I'm going to draw the posterior border of where we want the denture and, of course, the post-dam area to be. Notice that it goes to the notch, to the hamular notch area, but it does not go through the notch. The anterior portion of the posterior palatal seal in the midline should be at least 3 or 4 millimeters anterior to the posterior limit, and then should blend down to the posterior border laterally. The posterior palatal seal is then scribed by the use of a number 8 round burr in a straight handpiece. I will scribe this line with the burr, and I will scribe this line in between the anterior and the posterior limits of this post-dam. The depth of the line will be approximately one half the depth of the number 8 round burr. We scribe this line from the midline to the hamular notch area. Okay, now that line, repeating, is approximately one half the depth of the number 8 round burr. We can then either use a vulcanite scraper or the round end of a number 7 wax spatula and blend or round off the edges of this line that we have scribed from the scribed line to the posterior area, and also from the scribed line to the anterior limit of our post-dam. The arbitrary posterior palatal seal has now been completed. The mid portion of the posterior palatal seal is 1/2 the thickness of a number 8 round burr. From the mid portion to the posterior border and to the anterior border, this has been scraped with a vulcanite scraper or a round end of a number 7 spatula until these blend in with the tissue surface of the master cast. The outline of the post-dam I have scribed just for demonstration purposes only. After this has been completed, the maxillary base plate can now be fabricated.